Rob, we're here.
We are.
We're talking about something sensible. Cheers.
Yes, cheers. Let's do one of those.
Yeah, do one of those. We can do those now because we're live and direct.
From RSHQ.
From RSHQ.
In our new setup.
It's pretty good.
It's looking incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You happy with it? Does this meet your high audio file requirements?
The microphones are very good. Get my seal of approval. So it's the same, not the exact microphone, but Michael Jackson used this style of microphone on the Thriller album, Tom. So it's got his seal of approval too.
Wow. Look at that in a new light. I knew they would be pretty good because when we were trying to buy these, I was looking on eBay, see if we could get some second-hand ones, and they're the same price, second-hand.
Yeah, they hold their price really well.
Yeah. Okay.
Good old Shaw.
Good. Well, we're back in the office for the last kind of week or two. Not fully populated with our team, but
sparsely populated.
Yeah,
socially distanced through the office.
We've got to keep the social distancing.
Keep them safe.
Keep them safe. We actually had a really good team event earlier in the week with people joining virtually and went through a lot of stuff that really is just difficult to go through when you're not in the same room, right?
Yeah. It was so good to get everyone together. Really good immersion day. Get everyone the energy going for the rest of the team. Get the motivation going for the rest of the year. And some great ideas and great teamwork that happened on the day. And it was so good to see everyone in the same room together. It's been a long time coming.
Exactly, yeah. We talked a lot about the new products. We'll dig into that in a little while, but it just feels like an energy restore and weight lifted.
Yes. Yeah, I'm walking freely down the streets now. I'm skipping. Skipping on the way home.
Between mask wearing episodes as you go into stores. I cannot believe how busy it is outside our office here. For those tuning in, we're obviously right by Oxford Street, in this lovely kind of warehouse type vibe, but it's rammed outside. Yeah,
well, the last few months I've been coming in on the odd day like you have to do some headphone logistics, and I've walked past 2 people in the morning from Oxford Circus to the office, but now I'm walking past 10,000. So it's quite a big difference.
It was like that scene from 28 Days Later where he emerges from the hospital and he's crossing Westminster Bridge, I think it is, or London Bridge, and he's walking and there's absolutely no one. That was real life.
That was real life. Yeah, literally no one else around apart from you.
Oh, there you go. Fireside chat, the Iris Pod.
Yeah.
For those of you,
the inaugural session.
Yeah, the inaugural session with Rob and Tom. We spoke to Rob McFarlane last week, and
how did that go? It
was good. Yeah, he was just checking out the setup as well. Pretty impressed. It was pretty good. It was a chat about how spaces affect audio, and actually, even with this, I think the audience will see we'll make a few adjustments with some soundproofing and whatever around the back of each of us, because we want to get this absolutely right. But it was a fascinating chat. It's, I didn't appreciate how important and how much of an impact, I guess, a space makes on even the vibe of an album or a song. Yeah,
absolutely. And at the Beatles, before reverbs really existed, the Beatles were doing crazy stuff like recording in a tiled room, just because the reflection off the tiles was giving them a better effect than it would have done anyway. And so they were being really creative with spaces, and what can you do with a space to make the sound different or stand out from the other stuff that's on the market. So they were really good with that kind of stuff. And luckily things have moved on since then. We don't have to rely on tiled rooms anymore, but we've got digital enhancements and processing algorithms like Iris to bring the reality of a room to the listeners at home.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. I mean, Beatles, just as a little diversion, like the first ever manufactured band that ended up then being, I don't know, the first few years I wasn't around, but did people think that they were going to go on to be what they were?
I doubt it. Yeah. It did. They were probably more like the Monkees to start with. When they were also another manufactured band who didn't go on to still had good success, but nowhere near the success of the Beatles. Incredible story.
Yeah, indeed. Before we get into a bit more of the chat, we've got a few administrative things to talk about. Pretty key moment. People have been waiting and very patient, but the Iris Flow headphones fully distributed to all customers.
Yes, obviously it's taken a bit longer than we would have hoped owing to the pandemic around us. But finally all of the customers that had orders, both through Indiegogo and our own website, are in possession of their headphones. All very happy, all delighted. We had a few moments where DHL covered some of our headphones in water, which wasn't very helpful. So I had to replace those headphones. But in the main, customers are very happy with their purchase, and listening well from this point forwards.
Yeah, nice strapline, bit of marketing brand stuff in there, listening well. Yeah, I think it's been massively successful, with all things considered on what we've been through the last year. Of course, if you've bought this incredible product and you are impatiently waiting for it, quite rightly so, but hopefully everybody's enjoying them. And I think today maybe less than 1%, much less than 1% headphones returned because people didn't enjoy them or they had some issues with them. I think that's a big mark of success for our production partners as well that have gone on this journey with us.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any returns of people kind of not enjoying it. The only thing we have had is people that just didn't fit because our ear pads are, slightly smaller than some others on the market, and which we're actually addressing with the new ear pads we're designing at the moment. But generally, any that have come back have been either damaged in transit, or that's pretty much been the only reason. Actually, they've been either covered in water by DHL or they've got broken in transit. Because they've been chucked, into a back of a van, and a piano's been thrown on top of them or something. And, so they come back to us.
Yeah, I dread to think what the state of their whatever distribution center that was. It must have been submerged in many feet of water. Yeah,
it wasn't clean water either.
No. I hope people didn't wear them.
I hope people didn't wear them. I know. Yeah, who knows?
Biohazard. So that's a key moment, and now you can buy them on the website. We're in stock. Fill your boots.
Yep, absolutely. And still quite limited numbers. So obviously, don't wait for them to sell out because they will do pretty soon. So yeah, we've got limited stock right now. A larger production run, obviously coming later in the year.
Yeah, probably about end of May, something like that. So that's really big news. And then the thing that people have been talking about and waiting for is the firmware update, which we had a few issues, mainly with the platforms that we were trying to develop on, right?
Android is a tricky platform to develop for. So getting that right across all the different types of Android devices is challenging, especially when you've got a small team like we do, and you don't have the manpower to test on hundreds of different devices. So yeah, apologies to everybody. Sorry, we didn't hit my date. I said the 16th of April, and we didn't quite make it. I can't blame it on the pandemic either.
Damn it! That excuse is long gone.
It's long gone now. So yeah, it's literally because we found a few issues with the firmware that weren't quite smooth enough in terms of the Bluetooth stability, and we're still resolving them. So yeah, we hope that will be resolved in the next days, and we'll get the firmware out in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and then I think we'll talk about it in a little while. There's a lot more exciting things to come through the over-air updates that we can do with the app companion in terms of the new software, but we'll talk about that in a little while.
And just to clarify what's going into that firmware as well. So we've got, there was an overheat issue, and some of our customers have been using the headphones at the beach, for example, or by the pool. And if the headphones are left in the sun for a period of time, then they do have an overheat protection that kicks in. But that is actually at a lower level than it should be. So as a result of this firmware upgrade, those people who are out using Iris headphones outdoors will not have any issues from this point forwards.
I've got incredible jealousy for anybody that their headphones overheated in January.
I know.
Or possibly December.
Well, there's some Australian customers, so that's
it's their summer.
That's their summer. So they're obviously got the full heat of the Sydney summer at them earlier in the year. Also, we've got some Bluetooth updates as well in terms of dual devices. So if you've got more than one device connected, there used to be an annoying beep if you went out of range. With two devices connected, that's now been taken away. And also, when you have a device connected and go into pairing mode, it used to disconnect from the first device. So that now does not do that. It sticks there and it allows you to create another one in addition. So it's a much smoother pairing process from this point forwards.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, looking forward to getting those out, and I'm sure it will make a lot of people happier with the situation.
100%. I don't know if you had a chance to just to change gears a little bit, whether you had a chance to watch the IGTV as previously branded with Professor Kimanobu Sagaya from the University of Central Florida, Music as Medicine.
Yeah, what a title, and what a session.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, he teaches it along, and his wife is a very famous violinist, and such a fascinating conversation about obviously something that's been talked about for a long time about the therapeutic qualities of music, but the fact that he actually teaches a syllabus, and it's actually something that I think you can go and experience online as well. So we should all we should all sign up for it. But everybody that hasn't seen it, really recommend it. You might have to skip forward the first 10 minutes or so because I think we had some problems. The professor was not he was not an Instagram influencer, so he had to download it especially to join the session.
Oh, really?
Which was very kind of him, and we had a few teething problems. So skip forward the first 10 minutes or so of me waffling on about whatever. And it's a fascinating chat. Really, really recommend it to everybody. Great guy, and hopefully we can do some more work with him and add to that bank of the scientific underpinnings of what we're all about. And anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about his subject matter, there's a course that you can dig into. Check out Professor Kimanobu Sagaya. What else are we talking about today? I don't feel like we need to run to an agenda. It's fireside chat.
It's fireside chat. We can talk about absolutely anything, Tom.
We can talk about this wonderful beer that you've discovered, which is the Big Wave Golden Ale.
It's very smooth, isn't it?
Very smooth. Kona Brewing Company.
Not too punchy. 4.4%.
Exactly. Yeah, we could even have two. Still make it home ably on the train
in good time. That's right.
Exactly. The year ahead for us has obviously some things that we've been wanting to get around to for some time, and it's been hugely frustrating, but we're finally breaking through because we're now back together. Maybe we should talk a little bit about some of these new technologies that aren't necessarily designed to be flowed through the our headphones, but are technologies that really cater more to our B2B side, but will serve obviously a massive benefit to consumers everywhere.
Yeah, I think Aris is really a company that's interested in sound in all its forms and not just music. And sound is all around us, and we experience it every day in many different ways. One of which is all the communications that we do. It's a massive part of our lives. When we sit down, especially in the pandemic, we're on a video call 3 or 4 times a day to people in our own companies and other companies. And so we're on these platforms a lot, and the sound is often compromised by sounds that are in the background and noise that's, babies crying, vehicles passing by, fans, machinery, could be anything, which really detracts from the conversation that's happening, and you listen, you hear less of what the person's trying to say to you, and as a result, understand less about the situation. So we're really keen to try and resolve this and try and remove as much of that noise as possible from the setting, so you can really focus in on the conversation itself and not have to worry about all these other noises in the background. So we've been developing a machine learning solution, so you can teach a machine all sorts of different things, but we're teaching our machine, in this particular case, what a pure voice sounds like and what noise sounds like. And then the machine's able to determine the difference between the two of them. And so when it gets a stream of audio that's noise and voice, it can take the noise away, and you're just left with a pure, crisp, clear voice at the end of it. So it's quite different to the ANC that you get in headphones, which is reducing or removing the noise around you. This is removing the noise from the other party, and so you've got a crystal clear conversation with them that you're listening to.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, and something that I guess, I don't know if it's a British thing. I don't think it is a British thing, actually. We would often fill time by talking about the weather.
Yeah.
And now, since the pandemic, the general intro to any multitude of video calls is still the weather. And then it's, been living my life on Zoom calls or Hangouts or whatever. And it's mind-numbing when you have a multitude of those calls. And there was a stat, and I can't remember where it was from, but it said that we listened to 4.5 hours average a day of digital audio.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which you can believe if you actually total up. Okay, I'm listening to maybe a podcast on the way to work, and music streaming, but also TV, and watching a film. And now, when the pandemic hit us, multitudes of hours of Zoom calls or Hangouts or Microsoft Teams or whatever your preferred platform is. Just all day.
All day, every day. That's right. So much audio that we consume in this fashion, in this day and age.
Yes.
Still now, we're back in the office some of the time, but still, hybrid model is going to be quite prevalent for people. They're doing some days in the office and some at home. So,
do you think people are going to go back to working in offices?
I think it's going to be a very slow, gradual process of people going back in, and it will certainly start on 3 days a week in, 2 days at home. That's what most companies are talking about at the moment. London's busy, central London's busy, but nowhere near still the peak that it was before. So you can still see a lot of people are not coming into the office right now, and various other bigger companies really are saying, it's going to be probably much later in the year before they do.
I think there's probably something around many companies, particularly ones with a bit more of a traditional backdrop, probably feared the notion of a workforce that was working virtually. And now it's been ushered upon them, and they're probably realizing, okay, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, well, I think it's a trust thing, isn't it? Like when these employees are out of my direct line of sight, how productive? What are they doing? Yeah, how productive are they being? But I think we've proven in this company particularly how productive people are when they don't have to come into the office. They don't have a commuting time, and they've got good focus at home without distractions. So yeah, I'm sure that's being proven again and again in companies across the country. And why pay for an office space if you don't need it, if you don't need all of it?
I think it depends on the nature of your role. So the marketing team that's still here as we record this, it's probably something where face-to-face collaboration enables more productivity. Whereas someone that's a developer or maybe a finance role or something like that, being focused in on your own work pattern and just being in the zone, in flow, is probably something where being at home is a benefit to you. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, even developers love getting together and brainstorming on a whiteboard and talking things through. But once you have those big sessions to plot your immediate couple of weeks following that, they can go away and be on their own and be without distractions. And
locked in.
Coding's a hard thing to do. It's tough, really hard. So you need to concentrate. And you need to have a period of hours where you're locked in the zone, as you say, wearing iFlow headphones. Of
course. And then you do those conference calls, and no doubt they're going to continue to be prevalent. And we want to layer our technology into those calls because that's going to be a more immersive, engaging, neurologically activated conversation. We've got some really interesting conversations going on. But of course, our core algorithms previously didn't scrub out Jacoby bouncing a ball incessantly against the wall or clattering around his cutlery when he's making his dinner.
That's right. He does love to do other things, doesn't he?
He's a multitasker.
He's a multitasker. I think you have to be a CEO. But yeah, I think that the important thing to note from this piece of work is that we absolutely see this as a chain of audio processing. You remove the background noise from the other party and you process the audio with Iris. So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got all the noise gone from the conversation and your brain is being stimulated by the Iris effects. And so you're more engaged, more absorbed in the conversation and able to kind of take more of it on, I think, and retain that information. So yeah, you do get this kind of dual effect of the two technologies working in tandem.
Yes, I think that's the beautiful thing of it. And I think the work that's already been going on in our kind of secret Iris lab has yielded some impressive results and something that, I think is going to be an incredible product for a good many use cases.
Yes, I mean, I've been blown away by it. We obviously had a good idea that what we were doing was possible, but the results have exceeded our expectations. So massively excited to get the product out and get it in the marketplace.
Yeah, so that was something through the course of a good many, probably tens, if not into 100 plus conversations with potential partners on the B2B side of our business. We kind of thought, here is a big opportunity for cleaning up audio in this way and removing that background distraction, and then allows our core technologies to shine, as it were, a little bit more. I guess the other bit of feedback is Iris Engage, which is our software technology that's in the headphones currently. Let's accept it. It's for the vast majority of people, and our research before we ever launched suggested that. But particularly for the music industry and producers, engineers that have painstakingly placed instruments in a certain position in the mix, it was probably less for them. It challenged quite a lot of their norms and what they knew. So we're catering to their needs as well with a new product, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And you've hit the nail on the head there. We've done multiple tests with blind studies with Iris versus other audio technologies, Sony 360, Ultra HD, MQA, and Iris has been preferred by 75% of people in that setting. And when compared to MP3, it's a similar result. So we know the enjoyment is there for the general mass consumption of audio. But yeah, for sure, some people like to respect the original placement of instruments that the sound engineer put in place, and you can now do that with Iris Studio. So Iris Engage, because we're giving your brain information in and out of phase, we take information from both sides and feed it to the other ear. You have to do that in order for there to be a brain activation. That's a key part of the Iris Engage product and the effect that you get neurologically. But we've found a way through our wizard mathematical engineers, including Randy. Big shout to Randy. Well done, fantastic product in the making there. We found a way to keep the placement intact and have a neurological effect and a phase separation and reintegration taking place. And the incredible thing about this new product is that it's actually able to restore dynamic range compression. So a lot of music goes through compression and limiting in order to make it as loud as possible. That was traditionally used on vinyl to stop the kick drum pushing the needle out of the groove of the record. So
literally, etching. Etching, is that the
etching? Yeah, pressing.
Pressing. Yeah. So literally, the indentation in that LP.
Yeah, that would be too big a difference between the quietest and the loudest
jump
parts.
Out.
And if you get a big kick drum taking place, it would just pop the needle out. So they had to be compressed, so there wasn't such a big peak. And compression's just limited, as continued as a way of making sound or music appear louder to the perceptually. So there's less difference between the loudest and the quietest parts. So you just end up with this sort of big, almost like a sausage-looking waveform that's compressed to the hilt, and there's sort of loudness wars going on for the last 10 years, really. And particularly for rock music, it makes it appear louder, but you obviously lose the difference between the loudest and the quietest part. So what should be an impact point, like a big old kick drum, a guitar riff, you lose the impact of that as a result. So this algorithm is able to unwind the compression and limiting that's been placed on top and bring back the full organic, natural or dynamic range that was there in the first place, which is pretty incredible. There's nothing else on the market that's doing that. And so we think we're unique and are pretty much amazed by the results of this algorithm that we've been able to put together.
Yeah, I saw the graphic of it as part of the team event, and we'll publish this on our website and in various other places and do some demos for people to look into. But I was absolutely blown away by the difference between what is your standard MP3 and this, like you say, a sausage, and then what working title Iris Studio is able to do. And you can just see it visually, the intricacies and the detail in the waveforms. Quite incredible. And just for everybody out there, what's happening, that's because it's also doing that with Iris Engage, right? But it's just doing it in a slightly different way that cross feeds it.
Iris Engage, well, there's two different things. Iris Engage is doing that to an extent, but because of the way we're moving sound around between your ears, it's less impactful. So this is a purer, more respectful algorithm to the original source material, but it's also giving you the kind of pre-mastering, what you would have heard in the room where the musicians performed, how it sounds in real life.
Yes.
So that's where a dynamic range, comes to its best light. Once you've had a mastering, it's obviously sounds great on the radio and it sounds great on your headphones, but it's not an experience that sounds like it did in the recording studio.
Yes.
Because when you sit next to a drummer, the dynamic range is incredible. The cymbal, the little tap on the cymbal versus a big kick of a bass drum on a smack of the snare.
You feel it. Yeah.
You really feel it. Yeah. And that's missing in a lot of modern music now. It's compressed too much.
Yeah. Great. Well, I think we've got some plans to get some demos out there. In terms of the name of the product, I mean, we are a startup. we're in hustle mode.
Yes.
But we absolutely love and appreciate all of the comments, good, bad, and otherwise.
Yes.
So if anyone's got any ideas of what we should call that product, get in touch.
The Iris Studio is working title, so please give us your thoughts and opinions on what this kind of restoration product could be called. Something that's bringing back the punch and the organic nature of music, how it should be heard. We'd love to hear your ideas, and please do send them through.
Yeah, I'd love to say that we'd give away a pair of Iris Flow headphones to the winner who comes up with a name that we like, but we haven't got any to give away. So sorry about that. And then I think, all of this incredible stuff is going to be, we should talk about the separation, I suppose, of our consumer business and our B2B business. So at our core, we remain a B2B licensing company, and we just have this incredible product that allows people to kind of shortcut their way, I suppose, to active listening and the promise that you can listen well. But we're about to siphon off, I suppose, our B2B side of the business under the brand Shaped by Iris. With a new website and further details and technicals on our products. But probably quite interesting, certainly for the Facebook group of. We've stagnated, guys, on the Facebook group. We need some more users in there, 118, I think, at last count. We do check on these things.
But no, it's going to be great because the problem is we have at the moment, we are speaking to two different quite different groups of people on the website. Quite heavy on consumer right now because of the headphone campaign and a lot of the things we've been doing with the app, etc., which have to be targeted to consumers. But we obviously have a lot of interest in our audio technology from companies as well who want to put it into their own products and use it in different ways in their own tools and platforms. I think it's the right thing to do to move those separated, and Shaped by Iris will be the B2B brand, and Iris Listen Well will continue to be the consumer-facing brand. Yeah,
I'm really excited about that, and I think a good number of people, our power users, will be interested on the B2B side. And we can't talk about specific names, but we've got some really exciting companies lined up that are licensing the technology.
Can we talk about the first one?
I don't think we can talk about any.
Oh, really?
Oh, can we talk about
going live next week?
Oh, we can talk about that one.
Can we?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
No, you do. No, let's wait. Let's do it next week.
Okay, we'll do it next week.
Yeah, because I actually want to do a bit of razzmatazz for it. But
that rhymes with the.
Sorry.
That rhymes with the company as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, right, there you go. There's a little clue. Razzmatazz. See if you can work that one out. Again, no prize on offer. I think let's just talk about the categories. Music streaming, obviously. Video conferencing. Really excited about that. I think. Obviously something that we're living and breathing, as we talked about earlier. So really excited to get implemented into a platform coming to you soon. And then we've got some wellness apps and some live venues as well, or some venue spaces where different wellness soundscapes and various other things are going to be.
I mean, we've got another new technology which we're working on right now. I don't know if we can reveal too much more about it, but it's related to the phase algorithm, the Iris Engage algorithm, which is already in our headphones. We can make a space even more immersive by extending that algorithm and giving your brain even more waves to reassemble. And that will be coming out later this year. So we're really excited about that product and taking Iris out to in-venue installations, which is the next frontier.
Next frontier. Cars as well. We had a couple of conversations with in-car audio.
It's still my favorite place to listen to Iris audio.
Too.
Yeah, I love it inside the car, just in that little bubble, and you feel like you're fully immersed in the listening experience. Yeah.
Your car can drive you from A to B without even interacting with it, and fully immersed in audio. You could learn a new skill while you're
whilst I'm just push the autopilot and just sit back and relax and read a book or something. You're not supposed to do that.
No, we should caveat: do not do that. Elon will be very angry with you.
Yeah, if you're on a dual carriageway, just fill your boots.
Oh, I need to get involved.
City driving is coming. That's the next phase of autopilot.
Surely it's safer.
Yeah, it is safer. Yeah,
because people are,
people are people. They're distracted constantly. The kids are in the back screaming. They've got a phone call coming through. They want to look at a map. Where there's so many things going on that you take your eye off the road for a second, especially on a motorway. take your eyes off the road for a second, and all of a sudden you're in the car in front of you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, drive safe.
Actually, it's prevented at least 4 accidents in my car from me, just not even on autopilot.
What, you're a terrible driver?
Yeah. But you just get distracted for a moment, put your head aside, and the car says you're about to crash and brakes on your behalf.
Is it cautious? Is it extra cautious?
It's extra cautious, but without a doubt, on 3 occasions, I would have crashed had it not drove for me.
Because I'm never getting in a car. Unless he's got it on autopilot. Yeah, I think we're wrapping up here. I mean, this is great, right? To have a chat, and it's actually a good chance for you and I to catch up, because obviously, we catch up frequently, but
not normally on work-related matters.
Normally work-related, so it's good to
not autopilot.
Yeah, it's good to chat in this format with the Irish Pod. So we've got loads of exciting guests coming up. This is going to be a weekly thing at least going forward. We've got a really big week planned for Mental Health Awareness Week, which I think is in May, middle of May, 10th of May, I'm being told. So we've got loads of really cool guests lined up for that. And we just want to have interesting conversations with members of the Iris team, Rob and I chatting sometimes, but also with people that are part of our network. And we just enjoy hearing what they've got to say about audio and anything else that they want to talk about. So we've got the setup here and we're good to go.
Fantastic. All right. It's been a good chat, Tom.
Yes, likewise. Thanks so much.
See you next time.
See you guys. Bye.